many feel-good moments in this kind of work that we do, but certainly seeing people freed from poverty is the number one thing that we're excited to see. And right now we're seeing a lot of folks who are really struggling in chronic homelessness, a lot of mental health issues, addiction issues, and these types of things. And so we have a very robust program where we're sitting down and getting to know people, very relational in nature, setting goals with them, and helping them up and out of poverty. You know, and we measure a lot. I think it's important that charities like mine are outcome driven and really doing a good job of measuring key performance indicators, and we do that. Interestingly, before the pandemic, we were seeing about 64% of folks who would come into our shelter with no job at all leave with a job. And over the last couple of years, that's changed. And so now we're really struggling to see people get back into the workforce. We're a little below 40% at this point of folks coming into shelter and then not leaving with a job. So what we track is successful exits out of our shelter have been dropped.
So you've got to tell us why. How come? What are the barriers?
Well, it really does seem that there's so much government largesse that's pouring into our communities. And it's not just mine. I mean, I have 11 pages of testimony from leaders across the United States that are fighting poverty that really are seeing perverse incentives from the amount of government help that's coming into the community. But it's not help that's able to discern. It's not a help that's investigative in nature. The very things we're doing with people on the ground in our own community, understanding the individual needs and what's really needed for that person. Government programs are not able to do that kind of work, and so it creates a perverse incentive that draws people toward it rather than toward the challenging developmental programs that are actually going to help them up and out of poverty. I'm seeing a lot of people coming in that don't have any intention or desire to work. There is an entitlement mentality that's become pervasive in our nation. We see it come through the doors of our mission every day. And then what we have to do is we have to be great sources of inspiration and to provide relational accountability in order to help people realize that they are created in the image of God, created in the image of a maker, and are therefore built and intended to make, to produce, and to contribute, not to be stuck on the receiving end of someone's benevolence.
And then the long-term success, and you can define success how you want to, the folks that have a job, do they seem to be more fulfilled? Do they have purpose in life? Or are they bouncing back sooner?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is what we find. That's why we do work first. So you come into our mission and we want to employ you right off the bat because we don't just see a person who's disabled or a person who's lacking capacity, but people who have ability and capacity and potential. And when we start with employment, it begins to energize them because we're built for that. And so that's what leads to more successful outcomes. But again, it's a fight. There's a great tension in what we're trying to do. And I think some of the larger, more bureaucratic forms of help coming into our community.